Today we're going to be coaching up the Rock's train. We're actually going to watch the Rock train, give you my 2 cents, and let you guys know if it's optimal or it's just a bunch of influence nonsense. But before we start that, guys, make sure you grab my Push Pull Legs ebook right now. Like, subscribe, and share the video. Let's get started. Chain clangers and bangers. We're doing some ladder raises using chains. So do we need to use chains to do ladder raises? No. What's this gonna do is gonna create a little bit more instability, so it's gonna make you have to control the weight that much more. Having said that, guys, when you're adding little nuances like this, you want to make sure we're keeping the form the same way. So to make this that much harder and more beneficial, you want to lift this thing as much as you can to make sure we're not swaying the body as much as using so much body English. Now, is this form pretty good? This form is alright, but again, we want to like create a little bit more of a, we want to make this a little bit harder, making sure those arms a little bit out further. But again, before we're adding chains, let's make sure we're doing the ladder raises properly from the start. Anyway, so form wise, I'd give it about an 8 for form, and necessary, I give it a, not necessary. You can just literally do dumbbell ladder raises, or just really, if you have a cable machine next to you, do some cable ladder raises. All right, next one, incline Smith machine press. We got 3 big ass plates on here, super wide grip. So guys, we're going really wide, obviously gonna put a lot more emphasis on the chest, but let's make sure we get a little better range than this. Guys, let's get all the way down. Where he's stopping is like, we're looking at full range of motion, we're looking at the distance traveled. We want to make sure that that bone, this humerus here, comes all the way back and straight through, because that's what the chest is doing. The chest is creating that horizontal adduction, basically going from here to here. He's basically working more so of the top tricep range, even though he's pretty wide. He's hitting some chest there, and chest is being loaded, but we want to get all the way down, open that chest up, breathe in, and then contracting all the way up. So range of motion, we're going halfway, so I give a 5 range of motion. When it comes to the actual set itself in terms of intensity, he's working his butt off of that, but again, we want full range of motion to really benefit from the Smith machine incline press. Okay, we got 3 curl variation. Okay, so we got somewhat of a, they used to call this this is like a form of a Zotman curl. Basically, you're doing a supinated curl up, and then you're flipping to a pronated curl down. The point of this is to get the best of both worlds in terms of the contraction from the bicep, and then getting that brachioradialis, or the forearm part of the arm involved as well. Again, we're doing these. Let's try to minimize body language, right? He's only lifting about 30 pounds here, right? So, in all, it's a good exercise to do. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I would say make sure we're doing this without so much body English. But when it comes to, your best bang for your buck for a finish or a bicep movement that can get everything done at once, you can definitely do this. I think it's a good exercise to do. Again, is it necessary? You can definitely do 2 different exercises. You can do supinated curls, and then you can do hammer curls. That's what I'm going to go to for my go-to, I would say, mover in terms of including my forearm in the bicep exercises. All right, next one we got, these are V-sits. Now, these are absolutely great movements to do. You can see the Rock. I'm pretty sure someone did a video on how he doesn't have abs. The Rock's got great abs. He's got damn good 6-pack and obliques to me. But when it comes to this exercise, very, very good exercise. He's doing it very correctly. What I like about this too is, what I want to emphasize, when you're doing abs, I'm going to say this all the time, is make sure that you are exhaling. Every time you do the contraction, you are breathing out, and that's going to bring you a lot more to the peak contraction when you're breathing out and when you're contracting the core. Very good exercise to do. And again, you want to make sure we're getting all the way up, so we're not just really working the hip flexors. But actually, I'm going to give this one a definite 10 for sure. Okay, so we got low pulley cable front raises using the rope. Now, I'm going to say a couple things here. If you want to avoid hitting yourself in the crotch, I would say turning it around and doing it a couple ways that I've done it before, and I've done these also with Mike Izertil, is having the cables in front of you and then pulling up. You're gonna get better overall contraction in terms of the load and difficulty from this moving up from the bottom to top. So doing a front raise from, you know, having the cable in front of you and then pulling all the way up and then controlling it down. You'll get a better overall contraction from this. You can see The Rock here is doing a good job. He's doing a little bit of a lean, which is going to get a little more stress on the delt, so he doesn't really have to come all the way up, but he's kind of compensating for the fact that he's doing it that way. So in order for him to be able to get that full range of motion, he has to be in a little bit of a hinge so he can get all the way up and, you know, and keep the load on the delts, on the front delts. But again, if you want to get a, I would say, better contraction, so I would say just turn around, have the cables where they are. Maybe use the straight bar. You can use the rope as well too, but I'm going to turn around and do this movement and get a better overall contraction that way. Still, this movement, the way he's doing it, the range of motion, his tempo, give that a definite 8. The seated cable rows. Now, The Rock is a tall guy, and this will give you some advice for you tall guys that are out there. If I were you, if I was The Rock, if I was there right now coaching him, which would be dope, I would tell The Rock, let's move our feet down a little bit so we're not trying to dodge our knees. I have a few clients that are very rangy. They're very long. So when it comes to doing seated cable rows, I'm gonna lower my feet a little bit. And I'm going to straighten my legs a little bit. We don't have to bend as much because you can see as The Rock is rowing, he's got to almost dodge his knees a little bit. So straighten your knees out a little bit. Just think about this movement actually, right? If I was going to do this movement and flip it upside down like this, what's it look like? It looks like a bent over row. So if we're doing a bent over row, let's make sure that our knees aren't as bent so we can get a little bit more range of motion. We have to dodge our knees when we're doing it and we can pull right down the stomach. Now, a couple things too. The handle he's using, guys, use what you can use. But if you have a, 2 pullers, like a 2D handles, you're gonna get a better overall range of motion because it will allow you to have your hands and your elbows come right to the side of the body instead of having them literally sitting like this and you're kind of doing this little thing here and pulling into here. You want to make sure when you're pulling that you can pull right to the side of the body without worrying about, having the elbows flaring out as much. Again, use what you can use. Tempo, form, giving it 8.5, 9. All right, we got some leg extensions. Now, to really rate this, I don't really know exactly what he's doing in terms of his leg day. I don't know where he's at in his mesocycle, but let's just take it for what it is. The Rock's got a very, very good tempo going, very consistent rep range. You can see how he's contracting the muscle. We can see he's getting full range of motion all the way top and he's letting the weight come all the way down. Again, when it comes down to leg extensions, what I'm gonna do is on the way down, I'm gonna make sure that I get as much knee flexion as I can to get the greater amount of knee extension for full range of motion to really hit my quads. But again, when he's doing this, really good. His tempo is great. His range of motion is great. And again, when it comes to intensity, he's training his ass off. Good for you, Rock. Guys, if you're going to look at a video and do some leg extensions, great video to watch. Good visual. All right, we got some dumbbell presses. We got some incline dumbbell press. Now, The Rock's really rangy, very, very long. Guys, let's make sure that we get all the way up and we control the weight and come all the way down. The Rock's got some long arms here. He can definitely get down a little bit lower. So he can definitely get a little lower, and I'm going to be a little picky, guys. Like, when we're doing this, we're trying to get the fullness out of our chest moving. We want to be in a place where we're coming down, and we have a really good change of direction, right? We're from here, and a nice sink, big chest, then squeezing all the way up, right? If we're looking at full range of motion, because what's the beauty about dumbbells is it allows us to get from here, it allows our chest to get all the way from down here, from all the way from here and all the way up. That's what it allows to do. When you're on a bar, the bar keeps you in the position because your hands are fixed and you can't come closer. So when it comes to dumbbells, guys, what I'm gonna say to The Rock is, Rock, bro, let's make sure we get all the way to the top. We want to get to here, right? That's your full range. Stopping right here, we're doing yourself a disservice by not coming all the way to the top, right? So guys, doing dumbbell, guys, girls, whatever, when you're doing dumbbells, remember that. It gives us the ability to get the full range of motion. Barbells only allow you to get to where it allows you to because the barbell doesn't move and you're fixed in that position. So when you're benching, when you're doing dumbbells, either incline, decline, whatever climb, doesn't really matter what climb it is, we want to get all the way down and then pushing and then all the way to the top. That's your full range of motion. Don't get down here and then stop right here, right? Full range of motion is when this arm comes all the way to here for that full horizontal adduction. All right, let's rank the Stair Climber. So a couple things I'm gonna say when it comes to stair climbers, guys, and you guys are like, you gonna coach me on stair climbers? Yes, I am. When we're doing a stair climber, if you want to get the best out of stair climbing or any kind of cardio machine to begin with, I'm gonna say, guys, don't hold on. Go as long as you can without having to hold on to anything. It's okay to hold on here and there. It's okay to put your arms up. But if you're literally resting and doing this, and he's not doing that, but I'm saying, you know, go as long as you can. Use it as almost like, you know, it could be like an interval in a sense of like intervals of you holding yourself up, right? Don't hold yourself. It's totally fine to rest your hands there and then take them off. As long as doing it back and forth, it's really good. But when it comes to really getting the best benefit out of doing the stepper, when you're walking up the stepper, don't have your bodies going up. Basically, you're just lifting your legs and you're just lifting your legs up and letting the steps go underneath you. Think of doing mini leg presses. Make sure your shoulders, like your head, isn't going up and down more so than it's staying in one place, and you're pushing the floor down. You're pushing every single step down over and over again. Doing like little mini leg presses or like lunges in a sense, right? So we want to make sure we're pushing down. We're not just letting the stairs come underneath us and we're just picking our feet up and walking up and just doing this head bobbing thing. So we want to get the best out of your cardio. When it comes to stepper, let's make sure we're pushing those weight down. What I like about The Rock, what he's doing is he's walking on those toes, so he's going to get a lot of that calf, get a lot of calf activation. So if you're trying to kill two birds with one stone, or you're just trying to get everything done at once, walking little plantar flex and pushing the steps down as you go is going to go miles for you. No pun intended. All right, last but not least, we have a rack run. Now, rack runs are absolutely fun. I love doing rack runs. Nothing wrong with rack runs at all. Again, when it comes to it, like, I'm always going to say this. Look, if we're gonna do any kind of set intensifier of any sort, we want to make sure we keep those variables, those controllable variables, consistent. So when it comes to form, right? The Rock's got a lot of body English here. You know, he could be at the end of his set, which is fine. But again, I think he's running down. He's going down. So look, when we're doing these, if you want to get the best out of your ladder raises, you want to make sure your hands are out. We don't want to be here, right? Here isn't as good as having your hands out like this, right? Now, we don't have to be straight and locked out. We want to be in a place where, like, you know, where we have a little bit of bend, and then we're flexing our arm to make sure that when we're pulling the arm up, it's all in one plane. So when we get to the height of the shoulder, everything's in one plane. We don't want the arm to be down here or up here doing something like that. We want to make sure that our arms are totally up this way and then coming down, right? If you're going to get the best out of your rack run, remember, let's keep our form as precise as we possibly can. Now, guys, using a little bit of body English at the end of your set, that's okay. But if we're starting out right from the get-go, we're robbing ourselves from getting a really good isolation to your delts. So remember, guys, do your best to make sure you're keeping your form. It doesn't matter how you intensify your set, whether you're doing a rack run, a drop set, rest, pause, mile. Let's make sure that we keep those controllable variables consistent. Form, range of motion, tempo. But overall, guys, The Rock is obviously The Rock for a reason. The guy's got great work ethic. Again, when you're looking at guys like The Rock, and I'm going to do a video on should you copy or train like your favorite influencer, and the answer will be in that video. But when it comes to this, guys, you're looking for motivation in terms of like watching someone really, you know, work their ass off at the craft. Like The Rock has to get himself prepared for movies, you know, for PR engagements, for his own business and his own entrepreneurship. It's really good to watch guys like that really keep up with their love for the gym. So again, guys, watch The Rock for some motivation, but make sure you stay in your lane, control your tempo, control your form, control your range of motion, and reap the benefits. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, guys, you know what it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.